Today I'm going to test over 20 easy, cheap, satisfying, and fun DIY science experiments you can do at home when you're bored. Let's go. For this first experiment, I have 2 cups. One is empty, one has liquid in it. And it turns out you can use a disposable paper towel from your kitchen to magically transfer the liquid between the glasses. So now I have 3 glasses, 2 with different colors of liquid, and let's mix them together and see what color it forms. It looks like we created green. For this next one, comment what color you think it's going to be. It's orange. Okay, we only did 2 colors, but now let's combine every major color and see what it makes. All the colors make black. Okay, for this next experiment, I'm going to make water magically turn into ice. It turns out to do this, I used Fiji water and froze it just below freezing temperature so it's still liquid. But when it touches something frozen, it switches to ice immediately. So next, let's try freezing some random fruits. Like a strawberry, that's satisfying. Now let's do a kiwi. Nice. What about an orange? Refreshing. Now let's stick my finger in it and see if it gets stuck. That actually did nothing, but at least my finger's okay. Next, for this experiment, I'm going to cook up some quick artwork. Because if you place it in a small Ziploc bag and trace over it with a black Sharpie, you can dip it in water and the color will magically disappear. It turns out that water bends the light, which makes the color disappear.
I am Steve.
Wait, what's this? Whoa! Up next, you can put oil in a glass and add droplets of food dye, which creates these satisfying blobs, almost like something you would see in a lava lamp. But if you want to take it a step further, you can mix it together and pour it in a glass of water, and the colors will start floating to the bottom. This actually looks insane. It looks like a rainbow rainstorm. Next, if you fill up a normal Ziploc bag with water, you can stab it with a pencil and it actually won't even leak. Nice. But let's take this to the next level and see how many pencils we can stab it with before it starts leaking. Alright, so I used a lot of pencils and it's still looking good. But now it's time to pull them out. This is a paper towel, and as you can see, I drew a small rainbow on it, which looks boring because it literally has no color. But let me cook real quick, because for this next trick, I'm going to pour water on it and it immediately becomes colorful. So to reveal how I did this, I took a paper towel and folded it in half, but under the top layer I added colors that you can't see from above. So the water basically allows them to seep through the top and become visible. You can also draw a rainbow on both sides of a paper towel, leaving the middle blank, but when you put each end of the towel in a glass of water, the rainbow will slowly expand and form to create one giant rainbow. For this next experiment, I'm going to make something oddly satisfying with just Skittles. If you take random Skittles and put them in a circle and pour water in the center, the colors from the Skittles will mix with the water, making a satisfying pattern. And you can even arrange the Skittles in different ways to make any pattern you want. This next experiment requires a plate and a dry erase marker, because you can draw anything you want on the plate, and if you pour water on it, the drawing will suddenly lift off the plate and start floating around. I went ahead and made some of my own drawings, like these fish that look like they're swimming. I tried to draw Nemo and Dory, some crabs, a sailboat, and this guy who's swimming away from a shark. For this next trick, I have a glass full of interesting liquid that's separated into 3 different colors. If I put a heavy piece of metal in it, it obviously sinks to the very bottom. But if I put a grape in it, it only sinks halfway down. If I put a plastic bottle cap in it, it basically sinks just below the top. And if I put a sponge on it, it will float on top. Wow, this almost looks like some fancy decoration I could put in my house. But it turns out the liquid in a glass is made from 3 different substances. The bottom being honey, the middle being water, and the top being oil. Each liquid has a different density, which allows different items to sink through it. This is a lava lamp I bought from the store for $15, but it turns out we don't actually need this, because I can make my own DIY lava lamp at home using only a few cheap items from the store. So to do this, you'll need a large bottle, first fill it up with oil, and then add some water, and food dye and wait for it to sink to the bottom. You can then drop in some alkaline seltzer tablets from the pharmacy, and the food dye will begin slowly bubbling to the top. Okay, yeah, this kind of looks like the Temu version of a lava lamp, but it's still a cool experiment you could try at home with a few basic supplies. For this experiment, you need slime and magnetic powder. And if you mix them together, the slime will become magnetic. So to test it, I have a large magnet, and let's see what happens when I bring it close to the slime. Dang, this looks like something from Venom. So now we know the slime is attracted to the magnet. Let's drop the magnet into it and see what happens. Wow, the slime completely devoured the magnet, and now I gotta figure out how I'm gonna get it out. That took forever to clean off. Up next, this experiment requires a water bottle, because you can poke tiny holes around it, but as you can see, the bottle is surprisingly not actually leaking, until you begin twisting off the cap, and as you can see, the water is somehow now leaking. This may look like a magic trick, but it turns out this trick uses basic science, because twisting off the cap releases pressure and allows the water to escape. For this experiment, you'll need to make 2 different liquids, one with hydrogen peroxide and soap, and another with yeast and warm water. When you combine the liquids, it immediately begins expanding, creating a giant explosion. You can even add food coloring to change the color of the liquid, and make it look like lava shooting out a volcano. It actually looks like lava. And for this final test, I'm going to double the amount of the solution to see if we get a bigger explosion. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. What the heck? I guess it doesn't work. That was anticlimactic. Okay, now it's time for a rapid fire round of satisfying, cool, and fun experiments you can do in under 60 seconds. Like if you take cotton candy, you can dunk it into water and it will magically vanish. You can also make it disappear by taking a spray bottle full of water and shooting it. Or you can pour water on it and it will disintegrate. Next, if you take a plate of water, sprinkle pepper on top, and put dish soap on the tip of your finger, then dip it in the middle of the plate, the pepper will all of a sudden retreat to the edge of the bowl. Wow, my finger literally has so much aura. This one uses a glass of water and a potato. When you drop the potato in the glass, it sinks. But if you add salt and mix it with the water, then the potato will magically float to the top. Because adding the salt makes the water more dense, so it's harder for the potato to sink. You can also take diaper powder and mix it with vinegar, and all of a sudden it slowly begins to expand to create what looks like fake snow. If you take ketchup from your fridge and add baking soda to it, then shake it up, it creates a reaction and will explode when you take off the cap. Whoa! I probably should have done this experiment outside, but I didn't expect it to blow up that much, and now this is going to take me an hour to clean up. If you pierce a balloon, it usually pops, but if you pierce the balloon through the bottom and the top, it won't actually pop. This is because the rubber is thicker and less tight in those areas. But let's see what happens when I pull this out. After about 2 minutes, it deflates. You can also put tape on the balloon and pierce it through that and it also won't pop. This method isn't as good though because it's already a little busted and I didn't even pull out. If you take a plastic bottle, twist it a bunch, then open the cap, it will create smoke. But it's not real smoke, it's actually a tiny cloud. But let's see if I can hit a target. This used to be the ultimate weapon in school. If you take a comb and aggressively rub a fluffy pillow, it will build up static electricity, which allows you to become a waterbender. Not gonna lie, I feel like the Avatar the way I'm bending this water. If you take a warm can and flip it upside down in a bowl of icy water, it's supposed to crush itself. What the heck? That didn't work, but at least I can use this for my morning routine. If you take a leaf and a pen and dip some ink from the pen onto the end of the leaf, and then put the leaf in water, it will suddenly zoom forward like a boat, leaving a cool trail behind it. Not gonna lie, that's actually really satisfying. And for the final experiment, we're going to be blasting off a DIY rocket with a Coke bottle and some butane. First, I'm just going to add the butane to the Coke, and then when I flip it over, it should create a reaction and shoot into the air. What the heck? Okay, I think we need more butane. Take 2. 3, 2, 1, blast off. Nice. Now let's try the same thing, but with this medium-sized bottle. Now let's try it with the biggest Coke bottle I could find and see if it launches any higher. And for the final test, I'm going to launch 2 of them at the same time with my boy TD Bricks to see whose rocket goes higher.
I attached a minifig to the bottle, so we're gonna send him to space.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, blast off.
Dang, so when I launched mine, it went sideways, so I think Ryan's won.
Okay, so yeah, TD Bricks' rocket literally swerved sideways, and mine blasted straight up, so I got the W. Let's go!
Let's freaking go. I got the minifig back. I thought I lost him for a sec.
Comment below what video I should make next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.